2010, Monday. Cock-a-doodle-doo, everybody. You're probably seeing I have a Texas mug in my hand. This mug is not to show support for Rick Perry, nor is it to show that I don't like Rick Perry. It's just a big freaking mug that I like to drink coffee out of because it holds a lot of coffee. And I love Texas, I gotta admit it. Well, they tried to cap that oil well leak in the Gulf of Mexico. The pipe that's down on the bottom of the ocean floor, about 5,000 feet down, and dark, cold, really dense water, you know, a lot of pressure in the water there. The pipe's about, that big around. And they took this cement and concrete cap, it looks like a little house with a hole on the top of it. They lowered it down a mile to the ocean floor. And the idea behind this was, they'd take this thing down, and they'd lower it, and on the roof of this house, this cap, they'd stick a pipe. And then the oil that was gushing out of the pipe that was lying on the bottom of the ocean, that's broken, would flow up through this thing. They'd have an oil tanker up above, and the oil would flow into the tanker, and we'd capture about 85% of the spill as it occurs. Okay? It was a great idea. Unfortunately, it didn't work. It froze. So they lowered this cap down. There was ice crystals all over it. No oil is going to flow through it because it's frozen, and they abandoned it. They're going to try some other stuff, but it's not working. To put this oil spill in perspective, the Exxon Valdez totally spilled a little over 11 million gallons. Right now we're about 3.5 to 4 million gallons out of the Texas Gulf spill. Leak. I like to call it a leak. Huh? Let's call it a leak. The Texas Gulf leak. So it's still going on. How did we get here? How do we get to the point where we allow our nation, the United States of America, allows these oil rigs offshore that leak? What's going on here? Well, I think it's your fault and it's my fault for allowing it to happen. No one forces me to have two big SUVs in my garage that burn a ton of gasoline. No one forces you to have your SUV or big ass pickup trucks. They're fun to drive. I like driving mine. You probably like driving yours. But in reality, we probably should have shifted to smaller cars. Without the government telling us, just by being good citizens. Okay, I keep using the word good citizen. I'm going to use it throughout the show. It's going to be a theme. Okay? We want to be good citizens. Driving big used SUVs and pickup trucks is not being a good citizen. The other thing we did is we were lulled into a sense of complacency about the safety of oil drilling. In fact, about the safety of all energy gathering. I mean, right now, this past weekend, there's 30 or so dead in Russia in a coal mine disaster. We lost 20-some in West Virginia not very long ago. And just to put it in perspective, the Gulf Coast, I mean, this isn't the first accident that's happened there, where it's the first big spill, but people lose their lives all the time working on these platforms. These roughnecks, it's a dangerous ass job out there. Last year, 22 guys died. 22, that's a lot. I think that's a lot. My son will tell you that ships can't be safe, and he considers oil platforms like this one, they put it as ship because it's not anchored. Ships can't be safe, you can be safe on ships. I don't know. I guess you can be safe on ships, but it's still dangerous out there. Okay, gathering energy is dangerous. Why were we lulled into a sense of complacency as a nation about the dangers of energy gathering? Oil platforms in particular right now. Because the last accident we had was in 1969. That was a long time ago. Off the coast of Santa Barbara, California, an oil platform leaked and oil washed up onto the coast in California. And Santa Barbara is a very wealthy community if you don't know. I mean, it's cool. It's very pretty. Very wealthy. And the animals died, and the birds were covered in oil. And a year later, they started Earth Day. And it was really the first big environmental push in the United States. Okay? Since 1969, there hasn't been a whole lot of oil accidents in the United States. We had the Exxon Valdez up in Alaska. Alaska's a long way away. It's near Russia. Right? It's up near Russia. You can see Russia from Alaska. And it's pristine country and it's a big deal. The Exxon Valdez was a big deal. This is a bigger deal. Okay? The experts will say that oil gathering off the coast is 99.99% safe. Well, that 0.01 is freaking huge right now. Okay? It's huge. And who are these experts? They're probably the oil industry. The oil industry says they're safe. Okay? Who is regulating the oil industry? The oil industry is regulating the oil industry. Why don't we have cleanup supplies ready to go? Because it's been safe. 99.99% safe. Just ask the experts. I'm sure they told the EPA that. How would you like to be the guy that works for the government that says, you know what, we need more buoys to float that are ready to go if there's an oil accident. We need to have some containment ships ready to go for the oil accident that's inevitably going to come. Your boss is going to say, it's 99.99% safe. You're not getting any of this in your budget. And good luck getting it through the appropriations committees in Congress. You're probably not even going to get it through your own administration. Your own bureaucrats probably said no to it. Thanks for trying, though. We appreciate it. So here we are. We got oil platforms, one, that is leaking a shitload of oil into our Gulf Coast and destroying the ecosystem there. And it's going to destroy a lot of lives. Then you got that great oil company, BP, going around and offering the fishermen who were there to help clean up $5,000 if they don't sue BP. Nice. You guys, nice company. Companies are neither, in my opinion, are neither evil or good. They're just companies. Okay? They're there to make a buck. And as long as you think of them as that, as there to make a buck, you can deal with them. Okay? So it's leaking. Again, it's the citizens' fault. We didn't push our congressman. We believe the oil companies. Heck, when I think of oil platforms, I think of really neat places to fish. Okay? Because the fish kind of gather around them. So it's my fault. And your fault. And the government's fault. But you know what? If I watched some of the pundits this weekend, and they were blaming Dick Cheney, they were blaming George Bush, they were blaming all the environmental agencies, they were blaming different this, different that. It's not. It's your fault, news media. It's your fault. Mainstream news media and all the rest of you, you blew it. You don't put emphasis where you need to put emphasis. You run the easy stories. And it's our fault. We didn't save ourselves from ourselves. That makes sense? Save ourselves from ourselves? We didn't do it. The companies will destroy you if you allow them for a buck. The country won't do what you ask it to if you don't ask it to do anything. You have to ask. You have to demand. And then you make it do it and make it happen. Okay? I shouldn't be driving SUVs. You shouldn't be driving SUVs. We should be demanding more safety regulations be in place. If not, if you're an anti-government guy, by the corporations themselves. They screwed up. So it cuts into their profit margin a little bit. That's tough shit. It's tough. They're screwing us right now. And if you think for a second BP is going to pay the cost of all this, you are high on crack. High on crack. They can't. They won't. We're going to suck it up. Okay? You and me. That's about all I have to say on any of that today. I hope everybody has a terrific Monday. And thanks for watching Dave in the Morning.